This review is on the last ditch Type 99 Arisaka. They began in September 44 and all the way up until, I believe it was May 1945 on it. This one is actually a nicer quality one, and this one I'm going to show you guys right now how to find a good quality one, and for less than maybe $150, they're going for $125 to $150. I'm going to be showing you how to find a good quality one at a cheap price. Because due to the last ditch ones, you'll see a lot of them out there. They'll have different types of bolts on it. But the bolt on this rifle does not match the serial number on it. If this one would have had its matching serial bolt on it, it would have been more of a plum grape size. This is known as a plum size on it, because instead of it being like kind of like the round nosed one, it's more kind of like, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what kind of design you would see. But you can see that this is one of the earlier types of this type of bolt on it, since the round top here has been rounded off. And that's actually shows a sign of actually pretty good, and it hasn't been stressed along the bolt side. And it really hasn't been used. This guy sold it to me, he had it for $225, but he sold it for me for $150 because he said I was about the first person there that actually knew about it. And he said his dad brought this back from the war. It's been inside his back closet for about 50 years, but what caught me is that the chrysanthemum on this one is still intact. Hang on. And that's what caught me very fast on it, and plus it was also in good condition on it. But notice how instead of being like the anti-aircraft sights, it's fairly just like a basic crude sight on it. It just has a small little post right there, just followed by a little peephole. This is about as base as you can get a rifle sight to be on it. No little flip up on it. And you notice how the handguard on this one, instead of like the earlier predecessors on it, this one does not have any type of wood guard on here that covers the barrel part, only a short little part up here. And notice how this part of the metal guard, unlike the other ones that are in the earlier ones, is longer, that just covers up to about here between the barrel band and the rear side, instead of it being cut out right about here where the anti-aircraft sights would normally be built. And notice how this hole right here came with missing parts on it. It does not have a recoil plate or a recoil pin right here, so I'm going to have to find one of those. But what you want to and this is what the bolt actually looks like. Instead of it being kind of like round and nicely milled on it, it's just stamped and welded, because you see how crude that is. But just because it has a bolt like that, don't be too scared of them on it, because this bolt right here is actually made pretty good on it. And I'm going to be showing you how to disassemble it, but not really. But this one does not match it. Just like to make that very clear. But alright, and the next part that I'm going to be showing you is actually what parts to look out for to tell a good one from a bad one. What you want to look out for, if you want to see one with a good stock, normally one with a good stock shows that it's an earlier one, because they still had time taken in with them, even after the 22nd to 25th series on it. That means it's September to November of 44. You want to look out for the tang part around here. Check to see if this wood part right here is actually smoothed down on it, because it still actually took good quality in this. It's just where the metal parts were in there that is kind of stressing on it. But notice how this part right around the tang area has actually had pretty good time into it. And notice how this part right here has not been chipped out or anything on it. Most people, when they see that it's a scar or something, actually no, it's actually in production, right? Because it got to the part where, oh, you fucked up on this little part right here, but the whole other stock is fine, so go ahead and put it on it. But check also to see, because this butt stock is actually made of two pieces right here. That's the reason why you'll see like one will be lighter, one will be darker on the bottom. But they actually made this out of two pieces. They had one long one and then one little butt stock right here. And check along the seams part around the butt plate, because even though it's nailed in, there actually is some that actually took time into it, because you see how there's just a barely little gap around here that shows I had time put into it, and that's good. You want to look out for that. But this next part I'm going to show you is the most part you got to watch out for. This part I cannot stress the most about, because this is how you tell a good rifle from a piece of shit. And this is actually what you want to look out for the most, because if this is not in here, I don't want somebody to be in here and then end up having their face blown up, because there are receivers on here that are very poorly made, and I do not suggest even firing it or even looking to buy one. And this is how you can tell a good last ditch from a last one. See along the receiver, and you can see my serial number, but I really don't care. See how it still has the cutout for the dust cover. This is a last ditch dust cover, but check the receiver on it. See how it's still got this groove cut in it for the dust cover. That means is that it still had time put into it, and it's pretty sure it's safe. You see how this part right here matches up with the line on it, and you see how it's kind of like etched in, but they all look like that. But notice how the little sight's been put on it. It hasn't been too badly welded on there. So this is how you could tell an earlier one, and these I suggest getting if your budget's tight. And most of these, what you see on here, even the ones that even have the chrysanthemum mutilated, you're still going to be paying about $250, $275 for them. I had to pay $450 for mine to get the one with the mum on it, and that was a 6 series, and that's a 43. And that's only 1 year right after. That's right around the 8 series is when they started going really up, and like, we need rifles fast as we can on it. Build them, build them, build them. We don't care for the quality. Unlike my 1943 one, this one does not have the 99T on it. It's kind of weird, instead of being the T99, it's 99T on it. And it still has the little gas ejection hole right here, but the only thing they had etched on them was the serial number, maker, and the chrysanthemum. Is notice how that right around here they stopped doing the nice 2-piece one, they just made a one full piece. This is actually welded onto the barrel. Right here, you see that crudely welded on, but you can still see it still has the bayonet cut on it, so that shows that's pretty good. And this is all one piece. This is welded onto it. And for the best ones, that actually does tell you if it's got a good barrel or not, or taking time into it, because as you can see, this one still has the ears on the front side, to where the little pip is right here. It's still got the ears on it, even though they're really crudely welded on. As you can see, but there's a better view of it. It's just one piece all the way up here, but that shows that this is actually a good taking time into it. And this is one of the better ones for it. This means it's 44, and you want to look for this on it, because this normally means is that it's been taken time into making it. But the ones you want to avoid too, if you're looking for the front sights, is ones where they don't have the pips. They just have the little pip on there, no little wings or nothing protecting it. You want to watch out for those. The barrel bends, you really don't want to have to pay attention to them, because honestly, even in 43 they stopped doing the monopod that can flip down from it. But this is how to show that you can pick out a good rifle for it. This one is, I recommend that you get one of these. Plate isn't that badly to put on. As you can see, it's still a good butt plate on it. I mean, just because you see one of these doesn't mean it's a piece of junk. You gotta just know what to look out for on it. But overall review, this is what you want to look for. One with the groove set in. Rear sights aren't too badly put on. You want to look out for the tang part around, especially the stock part on, especially right here. Butt plate area, you want to check for the seam right here that goes down, as you see the two colors. And the most part you want to look out for too is the front sights, because that normally tells you we took our time. We might have some spot welds on it. It's still good from then just being a piece of shit. If you try to fire it, it'll blow up on you. Overall review on the Japanese Type 99. Hopefully this information helped you guys out a lot. Maybe I can get a part 2 one of it. But sorry about the first vid, but I finally found a good place that has lighting in it, so bear with me. And that's it for the Japanese Type 99 last ditch rifle. Hopefully I can have this in part 1.